Today on the Blockade Who Game Show, we are going to talk about one of the many remakes releasing in 2023, and we are starting with the limb shooting simulator, Dead Space. 2023 is going to be an amazing year for video games, and especially for remakes, as we're getting so many of them. And the first of those many remakes is Dead Space, which is the horror game made by EA that's long since been missing from our hearts, since we haven't seen the series since the Xbox 360 and PS3. Resident Evil has done such a great job with these remakes in the last few years, and we're also getting another Resident Evil 4 remake this year, as well as Silent Hill making a return to the consoles and bringing their own remake of Silent Hill 2. So why not Dead Space come back to our lives and be remade in 2023? Today we're going to take a deep dive into Dead Space Remake as we talk about the story, the gameplay, and so much more. Before we get started though, please do not forget to like this video, comment below what remake you're excited about in 2023, and of course subscribe to the channel because we make video games content every single week. Also, if you're interested, join us on Twitch because I'm going to be streaming on Twitch every single Monday and Friday playing video games. And so if you are interested in that, come on out and check me out over on Twitch. We have a lot of fun over there and we're going to be playing a lot of fun games. I'm going to be trophy hunting as well as playing some old games that I haven't played in a long time, such as Pokemon Coliseum and so on and so forth. I have so many plans for Twitch in 2023, so come out and join us as we're going to be streaming on Mondays and Fridays every single week. But let's waste no more time and let's get into a Dead Space remake. Set in the 26th century, engineer Isaac Clarke, a crewman on a repair vessel called the USG Killian, assigned to the USG Ishimura, a massive planetary mining ship that has gone silent above the planet Aegis 7. Him and his crew go to investigate, but during their investigation they are attacked by mutated human corpses called necromorphs. All the crew seems to be dead except a few people that include a scientist that had started the entire mess. While exploring and repairing the Ishimura, Isaac reunites with Nicole, his wife, and meets Cross, another scientist, who is trying to find the temple and kill a giant necromorph called the Leviathan. Isaac also discovers the presence of the fanatical Church of Unitology, a cult that led to his devout Unitologist mother killing his father and herself and straining his relationship with Nicole, and a large red marker which caused the outbreak by inducing psychosis on the planet's colonists and later the Ishimura's crew. They attempted to do many things to escape the ship, and eventually when they finally get access to the marker and try to escape, Kendra, one of the crew members that joined you on your journey, kills one of the scientists and tries to leave with the marker as she was a double agent sent to keep this marker away from humanity. And she realizes that Isaac has been under the influence of the marker just like everyone else, as he is seeing his wife who is dead, and instead it was another scientist who thought Isaac was her husband. Isaac gets a hold of the marker once again by taking over her ship from the base of the Ishimura, and once they take it back, they go to Aegis 7, where he ends up learning the truth thanks to Kendra, but it was too late as a powerful necromancer called the Hive Mind kills Kendra. Isaac, though, ends up taking down the Hive Mind and escaping Aegis 7 before it and the marker is destroyed. And at the end of the game, though, Isaac is on the ship trying to rest as he's leaving Aegis 7, but is soon attacked by hallucination of Nicole as the credits start to roll. Dead Space Remake's gameplay is very similar to the gameplay from the original, which features you taking control of Isaac as he makes his way around the many floors and areas throughout the Ishimura. Some areas are not available to you at the beginning, and over time you will unlock cards and access to areas that you originally did not have access to. The main game mechanics of Dead Space is based around gun combat and using stasis to face down enemies and solve puzzles to make it out of areas. There are a variety of enemy types that the necromorphers come in. There are little ones that shoot from a distance, the normal infected that will try to use their blade-like arms to damage you up close, bat-like necromorphs, and of course what is called the Hunter that is not able to be killed unless under certain story-based circumstances. Isaac has access to a multitude of weapons, from the plasma cutter that is used to cut off limbs, the plasma rifle that functions similar to an assault rifle, a flamethrower, the rip blade, and so on. The main weapon you will use the most is the plasma cutter, but the variety of weapon choices can be fun to take out different enemies. You also have access to stasis, which will be used to freeze things in time to help solve puzzles or face enemies. There's also an ability to move objects, but that does not require the use of stasis. Throughout the game, you will gain access to a store where you will be able to buy ammo as well as upgrades to your guns and armor through credits that can be found on the Ishimura. You get credits and ammo through lockers and killing necromorphs, and you will also find items that will be specifically used to upgrade your weapons and armors. These will be used at benches that you will also find around the Ishimura. Each weapon's ammo capacity, damage, etc. can be upgraded, and for your armor you can upgrade things such as stasis, oxygen, health, and other things. Now we have mentioned oxygen, and the reason for that is throughout the game you will come across areas that have zero gravity where you can free roam in the sky, and this happens frequently, but also some of those areas will have no oxygen, and you will have a reserve tank in the suit that allows you to go for a good bit. Upgrading your armor will help with not having to find oxygen stations to keep you alive, and if you let your oxygen go out, you will die. The last thing to mention about gameplay is depending on difficulty choice, you will have to be cautious of enemies and ammo as things get harder. You can choose a story difficulty that gives you all you need and auto heals instead of healing packs that are found throughout the game. The more you go up in difficulty, the harder the necromorphs hit, the less damage you do, and so on. This game can be a breeze or a nightmare, and it all depends on what you want your experience to be with Dead Space Remake. Dead Space has a lot of areas to explore and many different elements to complete, and if you are looking to get the Platinum Trophy or 100% the game, then you're going to definitely find more to do with this game, and you will find yourself playing it again and again. Because of the difficulty changes, and New Game Plus being an option, which transfer progression while allowing for you to go back and complete the game again for trophy hunting or a challenge on a harder difficulty mode, is awesome. There's also an alternate ending that you can only get through replaying the game on New Game Plus. The game is fun, combat is always keeping you on your toes, and I feel that there is enough here for you to replay the game multiple times. Because the game is decently short, you can easily replay this game a few times and enjoy all there is to offer. Going back a second time, you can play it on a harder difficulty to challenge your skills and work to fully upgrade your armor and weapons to where you are doing even more damage and being able to survive better. The main draw for replaying this game is just the sheer fun of being able to slice limbs off necromorphs, and the atmosphere of the game alone keeps me wanting to come back to this game. The gameplay will keep you interested and does not get boring at all, and I think it is worth replaying. Dead Space Remake is just one of the many games being remade and released in 2023. Dead Space is one of EA's most unique games that features horror, shooting, space, and an amazing game that features the ability to amputate alien body parts with unique weapons. Dead Space was a series that looked to compete with Resident Evil and Silent Hill that mostly dominated the AAA horror game market at the time. Dead Space, like many other horror game series, they started going more heavy on shooting, and that took away from the horror elements that made the first games amazing. Dead Space Remake did exactly what they set out to do and make the entire game from the ground up, bringing all of the magic that made the original amazing, but gave the game a beautiful new look that gives Dead Space a next-gen feel. The environments, enemies, characters, and the entire design of Dead Space looked so good, and they gave us the same remake treatment that Capcom had gave us with their Resident Evil series. Overall, when it comes to the question of is this remake necessary, because plenty of games are being remade that really don't need it, like The Last of Us Part 1, but I would say that Dead Space is a game series that needed to be remade and brought back to a new audience in 2023. For those who have played the game, you are getting the exact story experience and everything is the same but for the most part, but you are really going to feel the next-gen updates that make the game feel so good, and re-experiencing this game today makes me appreciate how far technology has gone and reminded me that this was an amazing horror game. And like I said, some things are going to be different in your playthrough of this game that wasn't in the first one, and I think some of the changes they made are definitely worth going back and re-experiencing this game in the remake. If we are lucky though, the second and third games in the series will get remade, and hopefully they do fix up a few things and change things to make the sequels feel like horror games instead of just another shooter. Playing through Dead Space Remake, I found a lot of moments that I enjoyed and a very few that I did not like. But since this is a remake, instead of my favorite moments, I am going to talk about all the good changes that were made to Dead Space Remake that were not in the original. For my favorite moments, I want to focus on the changes to the remake that was not in the original, so let's go ahead and start with the first change that I'm happy with, and that is the new weapon introductions throughout the game. Instead of having to be bought in the store, you are given them to you across the game story. In the original, you would have to go to the store, purchase them, and spend credits on that. And in this version, you will go into different areas that will introduce those weapons, and it'll help you save credits for armor upgrades and other things that are a much better use of your money. Another big change that I loved was that Dead Space Remake added full zero gravity to the game, similar to Dead Space 2 and 3. The original was very straightforward gravity jumps, and the zero-G sections of Dead Space Remake were pretty awesome. It was smooth, and I could spend many hours in these sections, and is one of the best upgrades to the remake that I personally felt the first game lacked in when it came to zero-G areas. Then, of course, the best change of them all is the addition of side missions, which was not featured in the original story and gameplay. The side missions are actually pretty vital to not only the story, but some key elements in the gameplay. For example, completing the premeditated malpractice side quest will allow you to get the prototype stasis module that upgrades your stasis by adding an electrocution effect to the enemies, and this upgrade wasn't in the original. Then if you complete the You Are Not Authorized quest, you will get the Master Override card, which unlocks special rooms throughout the Ishimura. All of these changes make for a better overall experience that was necessary for making Dead Space Remake the best version of this game. Dead Space Remake is one of the best sci-fi horror games I have ever played, and demonstrated why remakes can be necessary and better than the original. Not every remake is treated equally, and sometimes it's better to leave the originals alone. Dead Space Remake is a faithful remake of the story with upgrades that give the game not just a fresh new paint job, but an entirely new experience all of its own. But now it's time to put this game on our gaming battery system, with 0 being a very bad game to 100% being a perfect must-play game. Dead Space Remake puts together old with new to give new life to a game series that was lost on the PS3 and the 360 era. With this remake, you can not only get to relive the story of the game, but play a smooth survival horror game that features combat that does not get old or repetitive, as well as new features and experiences to explore along the way. There is very little bad I can say about Dead Space, and honestly, it is not a perfect game, which rarely there are perfect games, but overall, if you want a great horror game with awesome gameplay and hours of fun, then you cannot go wrong with Dead Space Remake. That is why Dead Space Remake gets a 95% battery. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys subscribe to the channel because we make video game content every single week, and I would be very appreciative if you subscribe to the channel and come back and watch more and more of my videos. I do retro videos and brand new modern games as well. But please also comment below what your favorite remake is and what is your favorite remake coming out in 2023. And don't forget, if you want to watch me stream, I stream every Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. So come check us out and join me as I play a bunch of different video games from modern to retro. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.